pick up your other thing. There we go. We're live. What's up, folks? Supposedly we're live. It takes a little bit of second on our end to actually see us when we're live, but supposedly we are live.
Cool.
We're back. We took a week off last week to
Recharge.
You know, we need a little time off. Everybody needs time off. It is what it is. But we're back for another evening edition of Press Play. I always say evening edition of Press Play like we do them other times.
I mean, I wish we could.
One day. That's the dream. One
wish
day
we could, sir.
could do that.
I wish we could.
We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy.
We got a couple of topics. We got a bunch of topics,
I
actually.
mean, we can talk about anything.
That is true. We could just talk about whatever. That is a challenge that I'm sure Leroy would love to bring up. To try and be like, I'll talk about whatever you want.
You know what? We should do that one day. Like, I'll come up, I'll just throw a topic at you and
just see what.
and then we just keep going and see if we can fill an hour.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I would actually be down for that. I would be down.
You don't know what it is. It's just
It is what it is. But no, tonight we are talking about at least two things. The Marvel movies that were delayed. Mm-hmm. A bunch of movies got delayed for Phase 4. Is that a bad sign for Marvel? Is the MCU in trouble? I mean, spoiler alert, probably not. But it makes for fun conversation.
what does that mean?
What? It's Marvel. Marvel's fun. Marvel has not given us a reason to doubt. After they've already proven, after they made us care about a tree and a raccoon, they don't give us a reason to doubt. Also, we're talking about creative bankruptcy, and if we have any more creative ideas, is creativity gone? Or are we just recycling everything over and over again?
I'm gonna say something controversial as hell.
It's probably not controversial.
No, it might not.
People might be like, "Yeah, you're right." So kind of now we're just doing the rigmarole of letting people slowly get into our chat.
Yeah.
Let's pull up who is in the chat so far.
Carlos De Leon, Banks
Oh, you're doing it from this
757.
one? Yeah, I think it's
Brian
ours
B.
too.
That's interesting.
What's
It
that?
says our stream's bitrate is lower than recommended bitrate. And I should open this widget.
Oh, Leroy.
What?
Honey, it's always lower.
Oh, it is?
Ever since we've done this, it's always been that way. That ain't new.
Ah.
You ain't seen nothing new. That's always been that way. Yeah. Yeah.
I stand corrected, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where you want to start? You want to start with Marvel? Get it out of the way?
I mean, yeah, we can do that.
All right. Marvel says, hey, we're going to delay all of Phase 4.
Okay.
I mean-
yeah. All right. First of all, let's say hey to who's in here so far. Banks 757, Brian B, Joe Ellis, Zayla Maru, Damien Hernandez, Brigbad 85, and Carlos De Leon, like you said. All right. So we got all those people in there saying hey to them. Cool. They've already started chatting about. No, it doesn't matter. Damien Hernandez, not a fan of Captain Marvel. Fair enough. I like Captain Marvel, but a lot of people did not. I get it. Yeah. So, did you ever pull up the sheet that showed what got delayed to when?
According to, this is Engadget. Where did it go? Oh no, here it is. So here's the release dates.
Mm-hmm.
So, Doctor Strange got moved because they say it in the actual body of the article. Where is it? It's this one. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The schedule shifts means there will only be 3, and I'm reading this from Engadget. This is from Chris Holt. All of the MCU films Disney had on the docket for 2022 have been pushed back to a later slot. So Doctor Strange was penciled in for March 25th. It's now a May movie. Thor: Love and Thunder's old date of May 6th is now Doctor Strange's date. The next Thor movie will be in July.
No. Right. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And then Black Panther was in July. And basically, they just punted everybody's movie dates to the next
movie
movie
for them.
So, Wakanda Forever is now in November. So instead of 4 movies, we're only getting 3. And the Captain Marvel sequel that was supposed to come out next year is now a 2023 movie release. Same thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Sir, you forgot Quantumania. Put respect on that name. It's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
I said what I said.
Dang. Okay. Everything's quantum. That's all I'm saying. All right. So yeah, we get that out of the way. Does it matter? That's the question. Do we care? Is Marvel in trouble?
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this because
with the caveat that this news did come out
the
after
day
DC's
after fandom. I'm going to say this, and I think part of what happened is twofold. They say Kevin Feige was asked about it at the Eternals premiere, and Kevin Feige said it was production reasons, production shifts. I think it's two reasons. One, I'm about to say something controversial. Well, maybe it's not controversial. I think part of it is production costs, but I think movie theater revenue is one reason, and because everything has gotten delayed, supply chains are disrupted, everything. They're like, okay, let's take this opportunity to polish off our movies. Mm-hmm. And I also think, because if you notice something, there's a little caveat. Where is it? This. I think they moved, part of what made them move this was Black Panther. I think Black Panther is presenting some interesting problems for them with is it Letitia Wright? Mm-hmm. And I think they're positioning that movie for Oscar season. And they don't know what direction to go with it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, this movie could be a game changer as far as where we go next, and let's put it in November. I think it's cascading everything else because of that. Because if you move one, you basically move the whole slate.
You do.
And that's where I think they went with this. I think it was Black Panther that made them move everything.
I don't know if I agree with that, only because Black Panther 1 proved you can release a movie in February and make $1 billion.
True, but I think they think this is Oscar worthy.
But the first one won an Oscar coming in February.
Yeah, but that's because of what it was. If you want an Oscar, you got to put it in Oscar season. And now we know Oscar season is when?
Usually end of the year.
The end of the year, November to the end of the year. Like November, so right at that end of October, like sweeps. We know when sweeps is for our industry. We know if you want to see good stories, you know where they come. I think Marvel said this could be a game changer for us. Let's try to get it in Oscar season.
Carlos De Leon says that it's not just Marvel, but Disney overall. They really need to focus on quality over quantity, and Disney needs to stop churning out movies like live action Mulan. My God. Fair enough.
Yeah, I will counter this though. Disney and Marvel are two totally different entities in the sense of Disney's going to continue to churn out those live action movies because they make money.
Yeah, they may not be the best movies, but people continue to watch them.
And they found out that who people love the animated, they will still like Aladdin. Only one that didn't make any money was Dumbo.
Yeah, you don't hear about Dumbo a lot.
Dumbo's
and to be fair, I didn't go see Dumbo.
And there was another one. There was another one that came out that year that wasn't really that great.
Not great financially.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't remember what it was though because it was like it got dumped.
Okay.
So that ain't changing. They're going to try to do everything that was animated. They're going to try to make live action, because that way you can double dip. Because then you can make it. It goes in the box office, and you put it on Disney Plus. You're just printing money at the time.
Sure. So, I think we can both agree, or at least I will say, I don't think Marvel was in any way scared by DC fandom. Personally, I think Marvel's like, we're good. And Kevin Feige has said this, and I believe him. He is happier when DC is making good movies.
Oh yeah.
I think both DC and Marvel want each other to make good movies because that means more people going to see movies overall.
Well, not only that, and because he's a fan of the genre.
Right.
I don't know why people have this. And I will this tribalism, and I used to have it. I've gotten away from it. I want DC to have good movies. I want the DCU to be good. And just like the MCU, I want it to be good. I read DC and Marvel comics.
Somebody said, they said it in these trailers, and you said it too. A lot of people like that new Batman trailer.
Oh, I love that Batman trailer.
Because you said you were on the fence from the first one, right? First trailer?
I liked it, but I was like, how do you do it different? How do you do Batman different?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is different.
This is cool.
This leans into the rage of what this man would be if he really was dealing with PTSD. Like that scene of him just beating somebody down, and everybody's like, "Oh."
He's like, "Oh, I didn't. That's not what I signed up for."
Yeah.
I didn't know this was gonna be a real fight.
Yeah,
I just want to hang out with my friends at night.
Yeah.
For like a little group.
And everybody was like,
"Yeah, yeah, pretty much."
Kind of reminded me of have you seen the video of the guy who's a Marine who snatches that gun out of some kid? So two kids come to the convenience store to rob it, and this dude is standing there, and he turns around this kid, and he's just like, and the other kid who came in with him falls on the floor trying to get out of there because he's like, this beat down is coming.
Yeah. Okay. We will jump around because y'all know how we do. We'll jump around all over. But talking about DC fandom, I thought it was okay. I enjoyed DC fandom last year more than I did this year.
Interesting.
And for me, that was because I knew the schedule ahead of time, and I knew when stuff was going to happen. I knew the schedule was available for this year, but for some reason I couldn't access it, and that kind of meant I had to watch all 4+ hours. Again, I wasn't doing anything on the Saturday, so it was fine, but it was kind of like, when are we going to get to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing? But I did enjoy all of the movie trailer reveals that came out from DC fandom, whether it was Batman. I enjoyed the behind the scenes for the new Flash movie. I really enjoyed that little 10 seconds we got of Black Adam.
Hadn't watched it yet.
I was just like, this is cool. I don't know what it's going to be. I really hope it's good because The Rock, our buddy, our friend of the show, The Rock, has put so much time behind Black Adam. So I hope it's good.
Well, he's been wanting to play this for a while.
Right.
I want to say going on a decade. I think it's interesting that this information dropped that day, and it almost seems like, I wonder if it was done on purpose. Like I wonder who's in charge and saying, "Watch this." Drop it on them. Like in other words,
like maybe they want to take some of the steam out
well,
from
no,
DC fandom.
I don't necessarily take the steam out, but like, this is the thing. And when I brought it up and I said, and because when we talked about this, we were like, it's not a big deal, but it is to us because we're so invested in it. And it's talking. It's Reggie calls it talking season, like before the games are even played for the SEC. So for football fans, you know what talking season is. It's media days. Everybody's talking. There's no games being played. Everybody has the same record.
Sure.
DC fandom happened, and we know all of these people know each other. It's the fans who have this, oh, DC's this and their members did it. I wonder, do they like talk to each other and they're like, hey man, what you doing? Oh, y'all doing fandom? Hey man, you want to watch the internet explode? Hey, we go delay some movies. Really? Drop that shit tomorrow. And they're like, done. Watch this, fam. Marvel movies delayed. Oh my God! Like, I wonder, do they actually talk to each other to that? Because that would be amazing. Because that would mean we're the ones who are putting, like, that's what said, like, the Marvel versus DC or the Apple versus Samsung. Now, those people really do hate each other, I believe. But like Xbox versus PlayStation.
Sure.
Like, they all know each other. So I'm quite sure they share information or talk to each other about different things. And it's competitive, but I'm quite sure they want each other to succeed because it makes the business better.
Right.
So that's why I would like. And I enjoyed fandom. I didn't get to watch it. I watched it piece by piece. I still haven't watched Black Adam.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and set you up. It's not a full trailer.
Oh, no. That's why I said I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not watching anything. I'm not a behind the scenes person.
Okay.
I don't care, but I want to see that after I see it.
Okay.
So that's why I don't want to see behind the scenes stuff before.
Did you see the new video game trailers?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you think?
Little more excited for Justice League Kills a Suicide Squad or whatever.
Flip it. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. not as excited for Gotham Knights as I was.
Really?
I was like, really? I wanted something else from that trailer. I really, I don't know. I wasn't really on the whole. I enjoyed the fact that you had these 4 individual characters. That's what I wanted to see. Like, you just basically gave me a commercial. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Show me the individual fighting styles of each character.
Sure.
Show me why I want to play as Damian versus why I should play as Red Hood. And show me that, and go in more in depth of how you play and who you play changes the game.
I think they did that more last year than this year. But it's interesting. Those trailers were interesting to me because we always talk about we want to see actual gameplay or in-game engine. And the stuff they showed was in-game, but it was still like in-game cutscenes. It wasn't like, it didn't seem like it was somebody holding a controller, fighting somebody, throwing a batarang, doing whatever, doing combos. I would have liked to have seen more of that because we know we kind of got that the year before. So it's weird that they didn't show us that. Maybe they were trying something different. Was it Brian? I think it might have been Brian before who said...
Brian B. said it was terrible.
Yeah, Brian B. said it was terrible. And I'm not going to disagree with Brian B. I don't think it was terrible, but I'm not going to say for somebody who thought that, that's fine. Because it was lacking. Something about it was lacking compared to last year. And I think there was more excitement because they had never done something like that before. And it was
over 2 days.
Yeah, it was over 2 days. There were like different panels you could watch. It was like going to a virtual comic convention or whatever. This one was definitely just a 4-hour stream of DC content that was very curated and direct. Almost like the directs that we get now from video game companies. So
here's one of the things I think that people also... Part of fandom's problem for me is, and I don't know if it's the algorithm, if it's how they set up the site or whatever, where are your live panels? Because here's the thing that I think a lot of people, in my opinion, you said a lot of it was curated. So it was a lot of pre-produced stuff. It was a lot of people talking about. So I did see like, what was your first memory of DC Comics and that kind of stuff? And it's like, that's cool and all, but one of the things that people love about conventions is the spontaneous stuff that you find out from people who worked on these movies, a little behind the scenes stories, little things that maybe the studio didn't want out, like, hey, I peed in my uniform because I couldn't get to the bathroom quick enough. And so I did that scene and we all smelled my urine. And that's why, and you get those kind of things. And maybe that's something they don't know how to do. Because if you're that big of a company, you don't want someone to say something that could possibly...
Sure.
And so you curate it. It just seemed like a giant press release. And if you're going to do a giant press release like that, just release all the trailers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care what your favorite DC moment was. I want to know what's coming out and what it was like working on this project. So that's... if you want to see some people talk about stuff like that, like Brandon from comicbook.com, I'm trying to remember what his name is, Brandon Davis. He does a lot of those interviews, like talking about stuff like that.
What's going on with Cam Newton socks?
Don't know.
Okay. I just see that in the chat.
You know about as much about Cam Newton and his socks as I do.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because Cam Newton is weird.
He is. Cam Newton did have hats. I didn't recognize Cam Newton at DC Fandom. I was like, who is that? Somebody told me. I was like, that's Cam Newton. Like, oh, that's Cam Newton? Huh, he looks different.
He lost a lot of weight. He's vegan now.
Good for him. Yeah, whatever works. Is he on the team right now?
No, he was Seattle Seahawks.
Because he was with the Patriots, then they cut him.
He wanted to start. Seahawks showed some interest in him. Supposedly there are some teams that are interested, so we'll see.
Okay.
If he gets picked up.
Okay.
This is my thing that DC has not done a good job of. Cam Newton should have already been a mascot of DC way before now. He has been doing this.
Sure.
Like, how do you not reach out to him? And that's kind of the thing that I'm thinking about now, that I'm like, they haven't done a good job of like embracing people who have embraced them. Like MF Doom should have been working with Marvel. Rest in peace, sir. You should have had certain people, Bobby Digital, aka Tony Stark, aka the RZA. No, it's not the RZA. Cannot remember his name right now. But anyway, you should have
Chad
had.
will let us know.
Huh?
Hopefully, Chad will.
Oh, DC's will probably tell us.
Yeah.
But you should have had certain people embraced by your company because they've already embraced your product.
Mm-hmm.
Like rappers have always embraced Marvel and DC Comics because that's what we grew up on.
Yeah.
So I enjoy the fact that DC finally.
Ghostface?
Yes, thank you, Ghostface Killer.
Rayshawn K. There we go.
Thank you, Rayshawn. I couldn't remember, but if you go back, so Bill Sienkiewicz did one of the album covers for Ghostface, and you're like, they've embraced this genre before now. You like the fact that DC has just now gotten RZA's Bobby Digital, Tony Stark is Raekwon. Thank you, but the Wu-Tang Clan has embraced Marvel Comics for decades.
Right.
How are you not working with them?
I think a big thing as we jump around topics, and we didn't know I was going to talk about this, but we're doing it now. I thought it was very cool when they did like the variant covers for hip hop album covers for stuff. That was very cool.
Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm just like, how are you not? And that's why I said when I watched DC Fandom, the fact that they finally gave Milestone Comics its due, the fact that thank you, Johnny Blaze. I mean, the fact that Milestone and Reginald Hudlin, I think, is getting involved with it. But the fact that, Dwayne McDuffie, a lot of these brothers, John Paul Leon, I want to say, one of the original artists, the fact that you just now got around to highlighting and bringing back Static Shock, Hardware, Icon, and Rocket is beyond me because that's what, to me, when I see DC Fandom, they need to do a better job of promoting not just your shows, your CW shows, and having these actors and actresses talk about their love. Man, how hot do you think it would be if you did if DC Fandom, like what Marvel has, like we just had Johnny Blaze is Method Man. You had Raekwon. If you had some of these dudes on like a panel talking about what it was like to have this fandom become what it is. The fact that these people who love this stuff to the point where they're making rap songs and hip hop and embracing this. That's when I realized when I was like, oh, y'all may make fun of me for liking this stuff. Explain how it's not cool when the RZA's talking about it.
Right.
So that's why I said when it comes to things like Milestone, I really enjoyed the fact that they had that up there. And they had Jim Lee. My problem is I want to see more of that. Banks, he really wants to play Bishop. He really wants to play Bishop. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think they should have put him as Bishop in the Fox movies because I thought that would have been better than the brother they had in there. I'm just saying. Not knocking him, I didn't like the Bishop that they had. But then again, I don't like the Fox X-Men movies anyway. So.
Yeah. Going back to the original topic that we were talking about, Marvel movies delayed, we kind of had some breaking news as we do in our news business about it's been on a bunch of different the pop culture sites.
Yeah. Sony
has announced 2 more Marvel movies to come in 2023. They didn't say what they were, just that they're Marvel movies. We know
Olivia Wilde is directing a Sony Marvel movie.
Is she?
Yeah, that was who. Remember, I don't know. The people are speculating it's Silk.
Okay.
Remember Olivia Wilde? Not Olivia Wilde. Olivia Wilde. Because it was right after she did...
Booksmart?
No. What is that? This is a fight movie she did. It might have been Nemesis. Where she really...
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh, I'll have to go look it up.
Yeah.
But it was right after that. Hold on.
Ty Williams, Ike Perlmutter wasn't going to associate with hip hop or anything on that genre back in the day.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, that's part of the problem. Where's her filmography? Directing. Yeah, Untitled Sony Marvel project. But she directed something, or it might have been produced, or did she act in it? There was a movie where she was she was a fighter, and it came out right after that.
Okay.
I didn't know she was in Son of Zorn. A Vigilante? Was that it? Yeah. Yeah, this supposedly this was the movie that like a lot of people took notice of her and were like, this and Booksmart, and they were like, oh, give that lady some love. But brings up a good point. Isaac Perlmutter wasn't going, and that's true. But I think now that we are in a different time, and Isaac and Perlmutter's influence has waned.
Is he still with Marvel?
He's still, but he's
but
not.
He doesn't touch movies so much. Or
not anything.
Yeah,
he's just. I think he's just a figurehead now.
Because he was a toy guy, right?
He was there. Yeah, he was.
Like he kind of helped bring the money through toys and licensing and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, when they were bankrupt and helped shepherd them through all of that.
Okay.
I have not seen the Venom
I saw
movie
it
yet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot that you saw it.
But I mean, to be fair, I didn't think the first Venom movie was great.
Yeah, I liked it more. I liked it after the first 30 minutes though. It took about 35 minutes for it to get going.
I saw Venom. I saw the Carnage movie. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm not spoiling anything, and I don't want anybody to spoil something in the chat. But the end credits, I was like, y'all bold.
Okay.
Y'all real bold.
Okay.
I hope I hope it works out. But wow, that's a bold move.
But yeah, like we talk about the Marvel delays. I think Marvel's fine until we see a Inhuman style flop in the movies.
Sure.
Then I'll have pause. Now was it Carlos de Leon who was like he didn't like Captain Marvel?
Might have been. Could have been. No, it was Damon Hernandez.
Damon Hernandez. He might have been. He's not alone when he says Captain Marvel wasn't Captain Marvel for him, and some of that has to do with the fact of you're trying to introduce a character and not really giving her enough to work with. And I want to say that the woman who's directing, she's a fan. The woman who's doing Marvels, I'm trying to remember her name is. She's been saying some stuff that I've been like, I want more of this. Her name is Nia DaCosta.
Is that the Candy?
Yes, that's the Candyman lady who directed Candyman.
Okay.
That's Jordan Peele's protege.
Okay.
She said some things, and I'm like, yes, honey. Yes. Yas, queen. She said the snap is Captain America's fault. She said they should have killed Vision, took that stone, and stopped Thanos. And I was like, I am here for it. And that's what you need. I'm not saying that the person who directed the first Captain Marvel wasn't one of those people, but I feel like when I listen to Nia DaCosta talk about Captain Marvel and what she's trying to do and identify her, I feel
she seems like somebody who's a fan of
she's
comics.
She's a fan of comics, and she's a fan and wants this character to be great. And I think we need more of those people who are trying to do. And I think that's when we have more of those people, I think we're going to have better movies. I also think until Marvel has an Inhumans on screen, I'm riding. Every movie they have isn't great. Every movie they have isn't going to be Captain America 2. But you will have some Thor Dark Worlds in there.
Yeah. I've said it before, I will say it again. The biggest knock, the two biggest knocks I can make for Marvel is a lot of times the superhero will fight the mirror version of themselves. And also, any movie that I didn't like from Marvel, it's not that I hated it, I just thought it was boring and slow. Which is a movie I can still watch, but I didn't absolutely hate a movie, so that's the biggest knock I can do for Marvel for me.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like certain directions they've gone in. Like I'm on record of saying, I think Scarlett Johansson is one of the best actresses in the MCU, and I think that they did a disservice with her with Black Widow, and I did not like. And you can tell the difference in when you watch Suicide Squad and how they did Polka Dot Man and did a literal polka dot man, and then you gave me Taskmaster, and I'm like, who was more comic accurate? And you could have done, like, I'm not saying that you can't change different. I'm not saying any of that. I just didn't like that character. And I'm thinking the character of Taskmaster is an amoral dickhead.
And I kind of think the thing about and I get this more from Taskmaster from cartoons and stuff. Taskmaster kind of talks.
Oh, he does.
And it was weird that this Taskmaster was silent. Whether it was male or female or whatever, it was weird that this Taskmaster was silent.
It wasn't the character.
Yeah.
Like, you played Spider-Man. He's talking crap throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man, keep doing it.
Yeah.
I learn everything. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted that amoral a-hole. And I didn't get that. And so that's why I said a lot of times Marvel, some of it's bland. But I'm right with Marvel for a while. I think that I think that some of their things could be better. But I don't think this is a bump in the road. I think they have some problems that came up because of the pandemic, because of the way things are structured. They're like, let's rework some of these movies. Let's work on, because again, people forget, Sam Raimi wasn't the original director of Doctor Strange.
Right.
The original one wanted to go straight horror. And they fired his ass.
Is that Scott Derrickson?
Yeah.
Is that right? Let me look that up.
And they fired his ass, and then they decided to say, hey, Sam Raimi, you ain't doing nothing. Come on over. And he's doing Doctor Strange now.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I think Black Panther presents a very interesting dilemma in the sense of, we could get an Oscar for this. And they're like, move it to November. And everything, they were like, well, if you're moving me to November, can I get some more time? And they were like, you know what?
Okay.
Make it rain with time. Because it's not like we not going to go see it.
Right. Right. So that's it for Marvel stuff. Let's talk about this topic that you came up with here.
So, I thought this was very interesting. Pulsecon is this weekend. And
Hasbro Pulsecon.
Hasbro Pulsecon. Well, it's Pulsecon, but it's Hasbro's putting it on.
Okay.
It's just called Pulsecon. So, like, see, it's Hasbro, then it's Pulsecon 2021. So, they have their little thing that they're going through, and they're having, like, special guests and all these different people. Here's the schedule. You can watch whatever you want to. Here's all the people. They had Weezer participating, and I'm like, really? Weezer? Okay, cool. And I thought it was very interesting what's coming out for Pulsecon and, like, all the different products.
I think I saw something on IGN about Princess Leia's lightsabers now available.
Yep. They're doing a Lord Zed helmet. There's her lightsaber too.
Yeah.
A little mad we didn't get to see her use it that much in the movies, but you know what? That's Star Wars.
We got to see her fly.
Don't get me started on that.
The one.
And I like The Last Jedi.
I'm space.
You mean fly like a frickin' sorcerer and goddamn Harry Potter?
I mean, she wasn't on a broom.
She might as well have been.
She was like this, flying. I'm gonna get there.
She might as well have been. She looked like Mary Poppins in that. Don't get me started.
Okay.
And it made me start thinking. So Ken from Chicago, basically Hasbro does,
We sure are still together. Yeah, we're still together.
Yep. So Hasbro is doing a convention where they release all their new toys that they have coming up for the new season. And it made me start thinking, because we had two things that came out this week. Didn't watch either one of them. Uncharted trailer and something else.
Red Notice?
No, I did watch that. Ghostbusters trailer came out this week. Afterlife. Another
This week?
Yep.
You know me last week?
It came out last week?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Are you sure? I thought it came out this week.
Either way, it's fine.
What I'm saying is, it made me start thinking, because Pulsecon, they're highlighting some new toys, but a lot of it is just vintage toys catering to people our age and
so
older.
When you say new toys, what are new toys?
So in other words,
These are new toys not affiliated with any new property?
No, these are new toys that they're making that are based on old.
There we go.
I mean, a Zartan that changes colors. Oh. When does this go on sale? 4 o'clock. Yeah, I'm buying that.
And you guys see how easily Leroy just spends money. There we go. You saw it live.
It's $40. I mean, she ain't gonna be that mad.
Katie, are you in the chat to comment on that?
I think I sent her to sleep. So it's basically the vintage. They're doing a Rancor, HasLab, but they also Star Wars also has a vintage line where they make them that like the old Star Wars figures. The 3/4 is the 3.5.
Little tiny things, yeah.
So they call it the vintage line. And then I was like, everything that's coming out is catered to that 80s kid generation.
Sure.
You coined the phrase, are we creatively bankrupt right now? I mean,
I think you got a lot of factors to look into that. I think we've definitely been on a trend globally of reiterating on the same IPs over and over again. I don't think the pandemic helped in any way. I think because we are still in a pandemic, even as numbers go down, we're not back to normal. I think people do like the idea of going back to something back to their childhood that makes them happy in a time of stress. And I think going back to those old IPs and stuff you remember is a way to possibly deal with the pandemic. So,
but this has been started before the pandemic.
Right.
Because if you think about, like, the reason why I bring that up is because we're doing Ghostbusters again, and they're trying to make Ghostbusters cool. They're doing. We got Ghostbusters, and we're taking a video game that plays like a movie and turn it into a movie. And I'm waiting for the fact of, why do we need this? Like, because I'm not watching the trailer. I love Tom Holland. Marky Mark's okay. I don't hate him, but he's the same person in every movie. So, but I'm like, I play Uncharted. I don't need to see Uncharted. And that's what I said.
I think the idea is that you try to bring in new fan. Whenever you have something popular, you try to exploit it as best you can. I'm going to tell you right now, if News 19 Nerds ever get popular, best believe we're going to have a cartoon, a video game, a podcast, a board game, a TV show. We're going to have it all. We're going to have a cookbook. Just telling you. I say all that to say, people, I mean, if you have something that's popular, you want to get more people to watch it.
True, but I guess what I'm saying is, it's like, what is this generation's, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, the MCU is this generation's Star Wars. What is this generation's brand new thing? Like, Star Wars came out in the 70s, it's still going, that's great. What is going to come out now that is going to be sustained for the next 40 years?
A couple of comments I want to read. Ken from Chicago says, it's not about the pandemic, it's about Gen X holding the reins of power and making the culture kowtow to us. And then he gives a diabolical laugh.
There's some truth to that.
Banks 757. Actually, what you guys are talking about isn't just the nerd stuff. I saw a thing not too long ago on the resurgence of collecting baseball cards. Yeah, I think a lot of people want to go back to, whether pandemic or not, I think people, the idea of bringing back retro stuff has always been something. I think it's bigger now, but the idea of retro has always been cool.
Well, I think there's part of that, and I also think, and because we've talked about this a little bit before, the idea that something that was cool when you were a kid, and then these people are having kids and introducing those kids to it.
Sure.
I think that's that, and the fact that some of these people.
You have talked about many times. You can't wait to have introduce stuff to your son.
Oh yeah. So like, me and Katie were talking about this because we were talking about, like, so to give you a little behind the scenes, we have a 3-bedroom house, and I've taken over one of the rooms, and we need that room because the holidays are coming up, and if family comes down, they can't sleep on Black Series Star Wars toys.
It's bad for the back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't do that. You can't sleep on these comics I keep buying on Wednesdays. So I got to clean the room up, and I was like, and Katie's like, well, maybe we can put it in a storage locker or whatever. And I was like, no, I'd sell it before that happens because people break into storage lockers all the time. There's a guy I follow on Twitter who had his storage locker. They drilled in, like, and a lot of these things are like inside jobs. Like, that people who work there see who brings in stuff, and it's like, hey, Jamal, Thomas, Cooper, hey man, come rob these people. And like, That's what happens. Because they see what you bring in or people watch. And I said, I need to get rid of some of this stuff anyway, because part of the reason why I bought it was when I was working at the shop, I enjoyed the hunt
That was
of
before or
flipping
after
stuff.
you managed it.
See, I said that.
I know you was like, nope, I'm not letting it go. No, sir. You may continue now.
But as I was attacked just now, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed finding something and then flipping it. I enjoyed the hunt. But I don't pay a lot of money for a lot of this stuff. Like, that right there, that Thanos, I got that for $15.
You got your Castle of Lions over here.
Yeah,
Super cheap. Yeah.
this was like less than $2. Like, and I know I can make some money off of this stuff. And it wasn't like I did it to make the money. I just enjoyed finding it, flipping it, and then selling it to somebody else who will find some enjoyment out of it. So I don't mind if I sell something and or I get rid of something. It's not like I paid thousands of dollars for this. It doesn't really hurt that much. But I do have a lot of stuff that I bought with the intention of, here you go, and I do look forward to that. I have stuff that I'm like, I can't wait for my nephew to get older and I can be like, oh, his parents are going to hate me. Because when he gets into the introduce to Star Wars, I'm like, and he's going to be like, and I'm going to be like, yes, we have another one.
Yeah. It's interesting because I have, nieces and nephews that range in age from, how's the oldest one nephew? 22.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, I'm
I
thinking,
thought you were talking about the bad one.
No, I'm just thinking of like all of them. They range in age from 22
I forget you have the older nephew. Yeah.
right, to like 3 at this point. So it's weird, like the things that I've introduced to each one of them. Because like some of them, I introduced them to like newer technology stuff. Other ones,
Yeah, because when we did our Toys of the Year, you were really big into that STEM stuff that they got.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess the answer is, are we creatively bankrupt? I don't know. I mean, yes and no. I think for sure, yeah. I don't think it's an issue, and I won't call it a pandemic, especially not since we are in a pandemic. But I don't think it's an epic problem. I think it's epidemic. Yeah. Even I still wouldn't call it that either. But just because of whatever, doesn't matter. I would say, is there a solution? Maybe.
So this is the reason why I brought it up, because we've talked about and we've talked around this a lot of times. Think of the directors who are making stuff that aren't remakes, that aren't based on something else. And I say this because I brought this because I love Denny. I love this movie.
Friend of the show, Denny.
I told you I'm gonna say something controversial. I like this more than I liked this.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I love Dune. But I enjoyed this more than that, only because I didn't know what was going to happen in this. And
Shameless plug, if you want to see our full review for Dune, it'll be up in a few hours.
Yeah. So I told you I was going to say something I loved this movie. I love Dune, but I already knew what was going to happen. So it wasn't that idea of because it's a sequel. I can only think of 3 or 4 people who are doing their own stuff. And Christopher Nolan, Jordan Peele, Neil Blomkamp.
It's funny that you say those names because those directors have done other IPs as well.
They have, but what I'm saying is when it comes to big budget stuff, Blade Runner, yes, Zayla Maru, Blade Runner 2, 2049. I really enjoy, say what you will about Nolan, and we have criticized him a lot. He's really pushing the envelope of let's try it. I'm going to do a time traveling movie and no one will. I wonder if that was a dare. I wonder if someone was like, George Lucas was like, I bet you can't get him to green like that. And he was like, don't believe me, just watch.
What's he doing now? Adam
Oppenheimer.
movie? Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Okay.
With Cillian Murphy.
Okay.
So, Jordan Peele, his 2 movies. He's done he's taken over Twilight Zone. But I'm just saying it's one of those things where I'm like, Neil Blomkamp with his Oat Studio and District 9, Chappie, Elysium, he's really one of the people pushing the envelope for different science fiction. I want to see more of that.
Do you think, do you want to see it come from bigger studios, or do you think independent, like movie developers and
I'd like to see
filmmakers are
it
doing
from
it?
everywhere,
Okay.
from top to bottom. Because again, attack the block. You said that you don't need a sequel because you're like the story's already been told.
Did I say that?
Yeah, when we talked about it, you weren't excited about it. You were like, "What are we gonna do?" Because you
I
were like,
thought I was like, is Jodie Whittaker in it?
"Yeah," and I was like, "No," and I was like, "I don't think so."
Yeah, then I don't
Then,
care.
see,
Put my Doctor Who in it.
anyway. But what I'm saying is, that was new, that was different, and I enjoyed it, and I want to see more of that. And it just seems as Ty Williams, is John Wick a new character? I mean, the whole idea behind John Wick is he's that same. It's just done very well, but that's not a brand new character. We've seen that type of guy before. We just haven't seen it done very well.
I mean, John Wick is a new IP, bro.
It's a new IP, but I'm saying is the character isn't exactly new, as far as like the hero story. But
Yeah,
what I'm
but then
saying
are
is-
we getting to a fight of, are we getting a man versus man, a man versus nature, a man versus God, a man versus himself? In terms of like character dramas at this point?
I guess what I'm saying is, shouldn't we? In other words, shouldn't we? In other words, in 2021, in the age that we're in, the technology that we have, shouldn't we be requiring more from our entertainment? And because it is entertainment, but it's also art. Shouldn't we be demanding more? Like, perfect example. How many Fast and Furious movies do we have?
Not enough. Next. I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
Like, we should have more.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
Sir, they put them brothers in outer space. That wasn't enough for you? That wasn't new?
nah, UPN did that 20 years ago.
They did. That's true.
It
Who's
literally-
that? Flex,
It
Alexander,
literally was
and
called,
Homeboys in Outer Space?
yeah. So,
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Should we be requiring more? Like, perfect example. How old is Alien?
Why would you ask me that? I don't know.
I say that because it's old, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a movie that revolutionary? And see what I'm saying? Like, in other words, a brand new property, something new, something that came out of nowhere. And that's what I'm saying. Like Terminator. When, like, all of these ideas came from the 70s and they were challenging the status quo with different things. And some of them weren't as celebrated. Came from Chicago, The Matrix, thank you. In other words, you can use some of the same themes The Matrix borrowed from everybody. But when have you seen a movie recently that challenged you and you were like, what did I just watch? And you were just blown away where you were like, I have to own that.
I'm not trying to make fun.
You are.
No, because
You are.
No, I say that because
Nope,
it's
you
going
are.
to sound wild. But honestly, a movie that will challenge your conceptions about stuff, Zootopia. I'm being totally sincere.
I don't believe you.
Go watch Zootopia.
I have seen it.
Zootopia is like, oh, y'all talking about real stuff besides cartoon stuff.
I mean, you're right.
And I'm not saying it's on the same level. I just mean it was so weird to get those themes in an animated movie like that. That Zootopia just came to my mind.
And you know what? Ken from Chicago brings it. So Ken from Chicago did it. Banks, 79. I thought it was 77, but D-Steve's, I believe you. Gravity was really good. Gravity changed the way you thought about space and in a different way. Tenet challenged, like, you definitely said, what is this? The Martian, not so much, because I'm tired of saving punk-ass Matt Damon all the time. We have spent too much money
To save him?
to save him.
Yeah.
And
That's a fun movie, though.
it is a fun movie.
And the reason why I like that movie is because as I kept watching it, spoiler alert, there really isn't a bad guy or a bad entity in that. It's
No.
everybody's kind of working
Everybody's
together,
working.
which was a breath of fresh air.
The only problem that it had was it had the magical Negro trope with Donald Glover.
You felt like he was a magical Negro?
Oh yeah, he was definitely Magic Negro.
I feel like everybody was magical. Everybody had the right answer. It wasn't just him. That's how I thought.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But You know what? You guys are bringing up some good movies, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to see more of that. I want to see more groundbreaking stuff that challenges you. That's where you're sitting back and you're like when I watch, Heat is one of my all-time favorite movies. Seven is a great movie. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, should we be getting more of that in some of our nerddom and some of our science fiction, and in the sense of, yeah, I don't care if you borrow idea from other places, but yeah, man, let's get some more of that. That's where I'm thinking are we creatively bankrupt, because it seems like, we're getting another Ghostbusters. Did we?
All right, hold on, Kim from Chicago. Now you just naming stuff.
Crank?
I don't know. Well, Crank, okay, but Speed, at that point, that just falls into the Die Hard on a whatever.
Yeah, Die Hard on a bus, Die Hard on a boat.
Yeah. I mean, if we're doing that, let's go ahead and say Evelyn with Salma Hayek. Die Hard in a apartment room.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what I'm saying.
I saw a movie that's not good, but I enjoyed it because of who was in it. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Hitman's Bodyguard. And it was the sequel's about the wife.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I saw Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, the sequel.
It's not called that.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's
What do you
called
think?
Hitman's Bodyguard 2.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Want to bet?
No.
The Chick-fil-A bet?
No.
The Chick-fil-A bet?
Don't touch me.
It's
I needed
Hitman's
a
Wife's Bodyguard.
What?
Yes!
I had no... It can't be called
That's
that.
yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, that's exactly what it's called.
It's really called that.
You thought I would just say that?
Yes!
No. This isn't like Dallas, Idaho.
Well, I mean, it sounded like that.
Yeah.
So basically, they just
Yeah.
Harley Quinned it.
Anyway, not a great movie, but it was fun. And I'll only bring it up because Salma Hayek was in it. I'm excited about Eternals because Salma Hayek is in it. I'm happy to see
excited
these
about
older
Eternals.
women like in kick-ass roles. That's cool.
I'm excited to see what Angelina Jolie does with this role.
Yeah.
Because supposedly one of the things in the movie is, it's not a spoiler, she's so old that the memories are starting to run together, and she's dangerous, is why she lives in a cabin. And so she doesn't know what she's doing or where she's living. It's almost like it's something Eternals get because they live so long. It's almost a form of dementia. And so Gilgamesh has to basically like protect her, but also protect us from her. And I think that's an interesting concept of like you're tackling dementia in an MCU movie. Are you seriously doing that?
AC says there's a lot of groundbreaking stuff. Problem is commercial viability.
You know what? And this is the thing.
Banks, I don't know that Leroy has given me that sandwich yet. Thank you for reminding me. I'm sure there's a bet you lost that you owe me a sandwich on.
How do you boot people out of this chat? People bringing up old stuff. That's the old me. You know what? Banks brings up a very good point. Raid 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking. And so that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the streaming wars gives us more original IPs, because.
So are you looking forward to like The Harder They Fall?
Oh yeah. Because it seems to be where a lot of this new stuff. Squid Game. A lot of Korean cinema, Korean television, some of these foreign films, they seem to be taking chances. Our Hollywood cinema is not taking.
Sure.
And it's almost as if you need Carlos Leon. He getting kicked out too. Once I find this boot button. Those seem to be the places where you're getting challenging stuff. That's what I really. He did. I'm actually right. He did. That was how basically a lot of the mutants got killed, if I remember. But
Damien Hernandez talking about the Uncharted movie. Uncharted movie trailer looks cool but confusing as hell at the same time. For you mind if I spoil this trailer?
Go ahead, man. I don't care.
Because you don't care. To me, it seemed like they were trying to put a little bit of every game in the trailer.
Yeah,
Just like
I saw.
Oh, that's too much.
Was that 3 where they come out of the plane and he's like rolling down?
Yeah, that's 3.
Yeah, I'm like,
you saw some of that. There was like a scene where they look like they're dressed up like that could be from 4. I mean, there's a lot going on in this one movie, and it's just like y'all doing too much in one movie.
And not only that,
and also I love Tom Holland. But he's too young for Nathan Drake.
But this is
I don't want young Nathan Drake.
But this is the thing. They're trying to do young Nathan Drake because they're trying to start a franchise. And here's the problem. And again, the bankruptcy problem. Hold on, let me make sure this ain't the wife. She heard something that I said. Whew. Okay, just my sister. Stop trying to make franchises and make a good movie. Mm-hmm. That was the problem with Snake Eyes. A lot of people were like, you're trying to start a franchise instead of just telling a good movie. The Raid was a great movie. Yeah. And it got a sequel because it was an awesome movie. Mm-hmm. And the sequel was so different from the original, which is one of the things.
What?
Really? Raid 1 and 2? Those are two totally different movies.
Okay.
Son.
Agree to disagree.
Really?
I mean, like totally different?
The first Raid is they're stuck in this building trying to catch this drug dealer guy. Mm-hmm. The second Raid was basically internal affairs or
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's what right. Like when I say totally different movie, it's in the same universe. Perfect example, Alien and Aliens, Terminator 1 and 2. Like you have the first movie and then you flip it. Mm-hmm. And they didn't set out to make a Raid franchise. They just made the Raid, and everybody was like, "This is some good stuff." Mm-hmm. Injected into my veins, yes. And it got a sequel. Mm-hmm. Snake Eyes, gone. Nobody remembers it.
I'm waiting for that to come on a streaming service so I can see it because I don't want to pay for it.
But that's my point. Yeah. There was no buzz that said like. Do you remember when Matrix came out?
Oh yeah.
What happened when The Matrix came out? Everybody was like, you have to see this. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. When was the last time you saw a movie because someone said, you have to see this?
It might have been Knives Out. Hmm? And only because people were like, it's a different twist on a whodunit. Yeah. You don't really see that the way they did that. But, yeah.
But, yeah, that's Enter the Spider-Verse for me, that was... Yeah. I always say Enter the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie ever.
And that one was so weird because I know people did not... They were like, an animated Spider-Man movie? This sounds dumb. Mm-hmm. Or maybe not so much that it was animated, but that Sony was doing it. People were like, they're not going to do this right. But no, that was a great movie.
Yeah. But yet, like... Oh, yeah. Kim from Chicago. Remember, David Lynch did the first Star Trek. And he was on some other stuff that probably was illicit. V'ger. He had Moondragon in there. I mean, you just... Woo! Mm-hmm.
We gotta wrap this up because you got a show to do.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. You probably do. Yeah, you do.
Forgot. I set a timer to go off at 10:30, so we got another minute. But yeah, that's why I was thinking, like, creatively bankrupt. Like, where's the new stuff? Like, where was it last time? And you're right. That was... I have to see this in the movie theater, but that's because I know the property and I love the property, not because it was something new that people were like, yo, did you see such and such? Mm-hmm. I remember when 7 came out, and people were like, you need to see 7. And they were like, what is it? And I was like, I can't tell you. Mm-hmm. Like, you just have to watch it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's just where I am with that.
Mm-hmm. What got you through the week?
Honestly, I'm trying to remember. Oh, The Foundation.
Because you had just started watching it this week?
No, I tried to watch. So I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I tried to prolong to because it's a slow burn.
It is.
Man, it's now I'm like, oh, y'all are killing it. Like, I will say this: The Foundation makes me realize we need more science fiction, more space opera. Okay. The Expanse. That's one of the last things that I've been like, you gotta watch that.
Yeah. I'm enjoying The Foundation as well. Talking about Apple Plus news, I'm excited because Mythic Quest finally got announced for a season 3 and a season 4.
Have you finished it, Mythic Quest?
Oh yeah.
My brother-in-law was like, Mythic Quest is the greatest thing ever.
For anybody who is into video games, and you have access to Apple Plus, I would encourage you to watch Mythic Quest. Mm-hmm. I think it does a great combination of talking about some of the issues in video game culture in terms of women representation, diversity. Yeah.
And it has Mac in it.
Yeah, crunch, all that kind of stuff, and it's funny. It's very, very well done.
I started it, and then something else happened, and I didn't finish. I didn't get past episode 3.
Okay.
And I need to get back into it.
And then for me, what got me through the week, still playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. I'm not playing anything else. So that would explain, Brian, I think you had sent me your request. I haven't gone back to check stuff yet. I need to do that. But I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. I watched Dune. I watched Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. And was there an anime I was watching? No, it might have just been that stuff. But it's essentially, because since I'm driving back and forth from Charlotte, as soon as I get home from Charlotte, I'm probably playing an hour of Yakuza and then going to sleep.
So for me, it was baseball because the Boston's playing right now. They're probably going to get knocked out by the Astros. Mm-hmm. But documentaries, man. So Netflix has Screwball. If you're a fan of baseball, or just if you're a fan of seeing people who shouldn't have made as much money as they did, and you want to see how corrupt baseball is, go watch Screwball on Netflix. It's about the not about Balco. It's about biogenesis and A-Rod. And basically it makes you realize how fake we are, that A-Rod is able to be where A-Rod is right now. When you realize what happened and what Major League Baseball did, holy cow. You're like, and what? It just really turns it upside down, and you're like, these people? And not like, the criminal aspect has to be the dumbest criminals I have ever seen. But it's a great documentary. Screwball on Netflix. It's about an hour and a half. Go check it out.
Cool. That's it for us. You guys can always find us here on YouTube whenever we do our live streaming stuff. We're also on Instagram, Twitter. One day we'll get on Twitch. Someday. Some kind of way we will.
Yeah, we should be on Twitch, especially after we found out how much money they're paying these people.
I know, right? I mean, we got a long way to go before we make it to that, but yeah.
Not really. I mean, the people will probably pay for this content eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
Do I got to get naked? I mean, I'm willing to get naked for it.
Let's hit the end stream.
I'm willing to take something off.
This is our last stream, apparently. Now.
I'm willing to take it off.
Leroy made this explicit OnlyFans.
I'm
now.
just saying.
There we go. All right.
All right.
Peace.
Later. We're out.